Playoff hockey has entered the group chat. The Rangers kick off their first-round series against the Capitals on Sunday, so let's get all the storylines heading into this series with New York Post Rangers beat writer Mollie Walker. Mollie, thanks for hopping on with us. Let's throw out the last 82 games because the Rangers' new season begins on Sunday. You are up in Terrytown. What updates can you give us about Blake Wheeler and Philipito?
Well, to start with Blake Wheeler, he did have a red jersey in his locker today, but he only skated individually. He has not joined the team yet, and between the two, he probably has less of a chance of coming back for the Rangers this postseason. Obviously, never say never, as we learned with Philipito, but Wheeler does still seem pretty far away. But Philipito looks and is a full participant in the Rangers practices lately. Hasn't really done any consistent line reps, but he's in it and he looks ready. He looks up to speed, and it's just a matter of how ready he really is and how close he really is to returning, and that'll be a head coach Peter Laviolette decision that will be very interesting down the line here.
That's going to be a huge addition to an already stacked roster. I bet Rangers fans are just waiting for the word to get that guy back out there on the ice. Let's break down this series because in the past, the Capitals have been the more physical team between these two, but this is a different Rangers squad this season. Can this year's Rangers team match Washington's physicality, and how important is it going to be for them to do that?
I think that physicality is a major factor in any playoff series, but it's almost a full circle moment, it feels like, for this Rangers team playing the Capitals in the first round in a very, very important postseason. So that's going to be a big key for them. They're going to want to be the ones pushing the Capitals around, not vice versa. And the Rangers really have been that team this season, especially since the emergence of Matt Rempe, who has just been such a contagious factor for this Rangers team. He's throughout the whole lineup. They feed off of him, really, and if he's in the lineup, which all signs point to him being in the lineup, he'll definitely have an impact on this series.
All right, obviously the Rangers are the favorites in this series, but anything can happen in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as you know. How important is it for New York to take care of business early and keep this series short?
I just look back to 2 seasons ago, the run to the Eastern Conference Final, going 7-7 through the first 2 rounds. They ran out of gas in the Eastern Conference Final against Tampa Bay, and that's going to be something that they're not going to want to have happen again this season. And in a series where they are so heavily favored, they're going to want to get this over in 4 or 5, especially when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference playoff bracket. You want the rest of those teams going to 7. It's both of the other series are a little bit more evenly matched, and the Rangers are going to want all the rest that they possibly could get in a playoffs where it's always very rare to get that. So it's definitely a goal for this Rangers team, and it'll be important for their longevity of the playoffs.
All right, we know what this series means to this team, and you have a trending article on the Post about 5 cool storylines going into this series. So what's been your most favorite or most interesting storyline going into this series?
There's honestly so many. It's really difficult to pick a favorite, but I think I got to go with the Lindgren brothers. It's something that doesn't happen so often, and they're, Ryan Lindgren on the Rangers and Charlie Lindgren on the Washington Capitals. And Charlie Lindgren is going to be a really big factor in this series. He's had such a unique story this season, emerging as a top goaltender at age 30, and obviously just brother on brother. It's going to be fun for Rangers fans, for Capitals fans, probably for the Lindgren family as well. So that's always a unique storyline when that happens.
Got a full Kelsey brothers thing going on here on the NHL. Thanks, Mollie, for joining us. I'm sure we're going to come back to you throughout the course of this series and this playoffs.
Thanks, Brandon.